How's it going, everyone? KingBlackToof here. So today we're going to be looking at the top 5 strongest cards to come out of the Midwinter update expansion batch number 1. So we've got 20 cards shown to us on the website behind me, and I'm going to pick the top 5 strongest. Now, when batch number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 come out, I'll be doing top 5 strongest of those particular batches as well. And I think at the end I'll try and shuffle them together with this to try and give us a great order as we go along. Another thing to mention is all these numbers are subject to change. Nothing here is definite, but the website behind me has saw some changes, some differences in numbers to more reflect the developer stream, which is a good thing. So we've got more accurate idea of where these cards are. So let's start with the top 5 strongest cards from batch number 1. So the first card on my list is a monster card, Werewolf. This is a 7 strength bronze. It's immune, which I'll go over in a minute, which is going to really change the way some decks face this card. And it strengthens by 7 when it comes in contact with Moonlight. Now, we don't know what Moonlight is and how easy it is to get, if there's any negatives as well as positives to it. But we imagine it's a boon that you place on your side and it will strengthen this card by 7. I imagine it's a bronze or a silver, so depending on how easy or hard it is to get hold of and the positive and negatives would impact this card. So a little unknown there, but it is also immune. So what that means is that you can't target this card directly. So you can't Owlzor it. You can't probably use a Northern Realms machine to kill it. You probably can't use Imperial Enforcers to hit it either. So, you know, it means that you can safely place this card on the board and then do the Moonlight after. Most of the time you'll be quite safe about doing that, which is really nice. It's going to put a real halt to people's control decks, and it's really going to be a nice counter to try and, if that becomes too prevalent, you can put these guys in and, you know, you got a bit of safety there, which is really nice. It is still affected by AoE, so immune cards are still affected by AoE, things like Lacerate, Hailstorm, probably Weather, but that is kind of generally slow, so you still get a bit of a time to do something with this card, which is great. Now, it strengthens by 7 in contact with Moonlight, so it becomes a 14 base strength card. There's no hint of regressing anywhere on it, so 14 is really high for bronze in the current state, unless everything's getting buffed again, but let's not worry about that. 14 seems high, and it's great for ghouls to eat later, so it seems like a really good card that's going to really put a crimp in some people's day. It's good value, it's immune, so it's a bit awkward to play against, and it's got the benefits of Moonlight, whatever they may be. So really kind of interesting, nice, strong card for monsters, really, you know. I like it. So next on the list is Selkirk. This is such a great card. I mean, I think I'm biased as well as everyone else. This is a really nice card. It's got a new mechanic and its premium is godlike. We're going to have to push that bias away. Be gone, thought. Okay. It's a 7 strength golden Northern Realms card. It duels an enemy and gains 3 armor. If you don't know what dueling is, it's where you target a unit and you do damage equal to this unit's power. Okay, so in Selkirk's case, he'll do 7 damage to that unit. And then whatever strength that unit is left on, if it's still alive, will do damage to Selkirk. And then whatever Selkirk's strength is, will do damage back to that. And they keep going back and forth until one of them is dead. So you'll do 7 damage to a 10 strength unit, it will go down to 3. And then it will do 3 damage to Selkirk, which will take away his armor, doing no damage. Then Selkirk will do 7 damage back to that 3 strength unit, killing it off, for example. Now, one unknown is we don't know how long it takes, whether it's instant or whether it takes a turn and then a turn and a turn. That's going to change how good it is, because it means that maybe it's going to be slower. There might be ways to interrupt it, you know, or influence it. It does allow a bit of interplay from the opponent to be able to stop the damage, which is good. But people have figured out the graph of value Selkirk can give. So this graph was provided by someone on Reddit, which is a great example of shows the value you can get from Selkirk based on the target you choose. Okay, so the optimal value is here. The opponent's target strength is 10 to 12. You'll get the maximum value of 17 here. Okay, this is based on Selkirk being 7 base strength. Whether you can buff him or not might make this a bit higher. But anything which is 7 strength or less is just pure removal. Okay, if the target is 7 strength, then you'll get 14 value out of it because you'll remove him from the board straight away, which might be necessary. But if you want to get maximum value out of it, something that is 10 strength, 11 strength, or 12 strength is your target. Now, what this doesn't really show here is that if the opponent has armor, it's a very bad target to do because you'll hit the armor and they'll smack you very hard. So things like Trollolo or Redanian Knights, which boost after getting their armor taken off, is a very bad target to do. So Selkirk is quite a strong card, it seems. A bit more information on how it actually works and we'll judge him again, but at the minute you got a bit of variety of how you want to use him. Pure removal, bit of value, and maybe you can make it more value by using Royal Decree and things like Foltest to boost them up just a little bit higher. So next on the list we've got Leto Kingslayer. Now this is a really nice Nilfgaardian gold. Okay, so he's got a choice ability, so he's got 2 abilities and they're both reasonably good. And choice is valued so highly among players that that's really definitely going to bump it up in the value at least. So he's got the choice between destroying an enemy leader and setting himself to 11, which is nice, or playing a bronze or silver tactic from the deck, your deck. So the second ability, let's go over that first, playing a bronze or silver tactic. So there's a couple of tactics around. This effectively makes him John Natalis. Is mainly the way people are going to use him. They're going to use him for decoy, they're going to use him for Commander's Horn, they're probably going to use him for marching orders. You know, it makes him a 4 strength John Natalis with the option of something else. Now we don't know if John Natalis is going to change to get an option, but -2 strength in Nilfgaard and the option to do some really high value with his other option, that's a pretty good choice really. Very strong. And you know, you got bronzes, so if you have a lot of bronze tactics, then maybe you could use those. His first choice, destroying an enemy leader on the board and setting himself to 11. 11 is nice value, but you know, let's say the average leader is about 5 or 6 strength. That means he's going to be about 17 value there, which is decent. It's okay, isn't it, really? So it's not a bad ability, but it has maybe 1 or 2 spikes which people are worried about, and that is Unseen Elder, right? So if the Unseen Elder becomes like 30 strength because he's eaten something big, like a Necker, for example, it's a common thing. I mean, most people see Unseen Elder eating harpy eggs and see them eating woodland spirit things nowadays, so he's not too big, but it will mean that Leto can seemingly kill him instantly and become, you know, massively powerful for it. 11 strength by himself, and if he kills like a 20 strength Unseen Elder, that's a 31 point play, which is huge, absolutely ridiculous. So this card is becoming really strong at the minute because not only is he a Nilfgaardian John Natalis for -2 strength, he's also got the ability to do this massive value to Unseen Elder, and maybe King Bran if they get him to 8 value or something like that. You know, you can prevent veterans, but you know, the choice and the power of this card is quite strong. I really think they're going to change the way this first choice happens. So I think they probably won't let you destroy it. They'll probably do damage to how it was in the collection or its initial value or something, you know, which would definitely nerf this card a lot. But at the minute, he's looking pretty strong, pretty damn strong. So in second place is the Viper School Witcher, another Witcher for Nilfgaard. It's a 7 strength bronze. It deals 3 damage, so that's 10 value, but it increases damage dealt by 1 for each alchemy card in your initial deck. This is a new concept, which I really like a lot, and is making this card exceedingly powerful. Now, you know, value-wise, Leto might be better, but this is a bronze card, and it means a lot. It does mean an awful lot. This card is absolutely, unequivocally adaptable to any meta. Okay, so effectively, all you have to do is stick in a number of alchemy cards into your initial deck, and this guy's damage will increase with no setup. The setup goes into the deck builder, basically. Which means if like engine cards become 6 strength engine cards are really the thing that's happening, you know, enforcers, they're all 6. Then you put 3 alchemy cards in your deck, and this guy can do 6 damage. And you remove them. If 7 strength is where the engine cards are and you need to get rid of them, you put 4 alchemy cards in your deck, and this guy will do 7 damage. Okay, you put 5 alchemy cards in your deck, this guy does 8 damage, and being 7 strength, so he's worth a lot of value, really. You know, now the issue is how easy it is to put alchemy cards in your deck. Now, it really feels like Nilfgaard are getting a solid alchemy build. Archetype coming through. They've got the Vicovaro novices, which already tutor alchemy cards, and you get a choice, which is really nice, which is unlike things like herbalists, for example. And you know, they're getting this guy, which improves when you put alchemy. So this guy is really strong because he's adaptable to whatever value you need. Now, no doubt people will meme with him, putting in tons and tons and tons and tons of alchemy cards, and then using Saskia Dragonfire to mulligan them away, and then draw in loads of, you know, units, and this guy will do like 15 damage or something, you know. So he's such a good bronze card because of this unique ability to improve him based on how many cards you had in the deck builder, not in your actual deck while you're playing, which is, I really like it. It makes you put a lot of thought into the deck builder, more thought. I need to squeeze another alchemy card in. Is that a good amount? Have I got too many alchemy? I really like him, and it seems like he's going to be really powerful. You know, nothing is going to be safe if it becomes meta from this card. So in this video, I've got one honorable mention, and that goes to Darren. Okay, this is a Skellige Silver, and he's obviously really good. I mean, he is powerful. I'm going to try and explain why he's not on my list in the actual list. He's a 5 strength silver for Skellige, and whenever an enemy is damaged, boost this unit by 1. So effectively, he's a silver axeman. He's an axeman from an older patch, basically. Anytime an enemy anywhere on the board gets damaged, he boosts health by 1. So he's massively strong. He's strong. You put this guy down. If you Stammelford, he'll skyrocket. If you Yennefer, he'll skyrocket. You know, it's easy to get him up to high strength. But the thing is, he's vulnerable as shit, right? He's going to be artifacted. He's going to be coralled. He's going to be scorched. He's going to be mandraked. He's just going to die. There's no way anyone's going to leave him on the board, okay? The trick with this guy would be using things like Restore to bring him back, to try and place him on the board and then hit something, you know, like using weather, things that automatically hit, so he'll boost up to a range which is not easy to kill without using one of those key pieces. His value wise, I mean, Axemen are 3 with 2 armor, and this guy is 5, so you can't use a Marjoram, you have to use a Mandrake, but he is still killable quite easily. Like we saw in just the previous one, those Viper School have no problem killing this guy. But also, he doesn't have Veteran. So the Axemen are coming through a little bit, because only a tiny bit. And that's also a reason why this guy's not too good, because the Axemen are not too good as a whole. But they've got Veteran, and they can get up to like 9, 10, 11 value by round 3. This guy's going to stay on 5, and you can restore him, you can Sigadry for him, but I feel like the reason he's got the potential to be powerful, but he's not on the list because he's just gonna die. He's gonna really seriously die. So for that reason, I couldn't really put him on the list too highly, because I think he's just gonna absolutely flop. But I'm sure people will definitely try him, because he is definitely a card that fits into a clear archetype. He's gonna be good, and if the opponent doesn't have an answer for him, he's probably gonna win the game, honestly. There's not much else you can do. If they don't have a clear answer for him, you pretty much lost the game. So number 1 on the list is Geralt Erden. This is a golden neutral card. Its strength has been changed to reflect the developer stream, which kind of indicates that it is supposed to be 5 strength, not 10, is what we saw earlier. It resets all units on the board, and removes their tokens. So this will be things like Quen, this will be things like Resilience, this will be things like Locks. So you can unlock a lot of your units, which will be really good in some cases. You know, especially if you're going for like Okvist or something like that and it was locked. Or especially if it was stuff like Savage Bears, Raging Berserkers, you know, Howard Hound Snout, things, you know, stuff like that. So the scariness comes from this is that it clearly biased towards certain factions, and that probably is Skellige. Now, you might be able to sneak it into monsters with the relics because they seem to be going for massively high base value. Doesn't work with the ghoul side of it though. But it does seem heavily biased towards maybe 1 or 2 archetypes, and it devastates the board. Like, buffing is quite prominent right now. It will completely destroy Imperia Brigades. It will completely destroy Dolblafana Protectors. Oh my god, it will destroy them. Spotters, Venonol Elites, Axemen, Darren that we saw earlier. It will be a massive drop, and it will definitely influence the meta quite heavily. Now, I think this is going to be a card where it's put in a lot of decks. Buffing goes out of favor somehow. You know, maybe you'll see the rise of relic decks and Skellige decks. And this guy will go out of favor, and then buffing will come back in, and this guy will come back in. There doesn't seem to be a way to protect against this, since it will get rid of Quen because it's a token. So that's a bit of an issue there. There's no way to protect against this, and it seems like such a devastating card that Northern Realms probably won't have too much of a good time because they are heavily buff reliant. So this card is very scary. Now, we may be pulling a Venendal Elite and saying a lot of these cards on this particular list are going to be scarier than they actually are when the actual game comes along, because we've got a lot of cards to see, a lot of changes to see. We've got the board changes, technology changes. So maybe this is not actually scary, but from this first batch of cards, this is probably one of the scariest cards that has come out. And everyone wants to play Skellige, and nobody wants to play against Skellige at the minute. So thank you for watching this list. And again, when the next batch come out, I will be doing the top 5 strongest on that batch, and then I'll mix it in with this. Maybe one of these cards will drop out, and we'll slot that in, and we'll try and order them in the top 5 strongest of all this new patch. So thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon.